Over the past few years, some of you might remember Zach and I gushing over the dominance of the BMW 335. It's one of the best cars on the road, period. With 300 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque, it's been on our list of favorites for a long time. Well, there is a new dog on the block. This is the all-new 2010 Audi S4. And with a starting price of just $400 more than the BMW 335 xDrive sedan, this is a pretty close comparison. We should point out that this is not the base S4. Our test car is the S4 with the premium package and an additional $10,000 worth of options. This particular car has the Audi Drive Select, which we'll talk about in a second, plus carbon trim, upgraded audio, and navigation for a total of $68,000. It looks really good in here. The seats are very supportive and sporty looking, and the integration for the driver is very intuitive and easy to learn. The latest generation MMI, or multimedia interface, is slick. The buttons around the outside make it easy to switch back and forth, and the display now has windows over top of other windows for more information. Now, a lot of people think that Audi has one of the best interiors in the business. The thing is, though, a lot of the manufacturers are starting to catch up. BMW is not one of them. The 335 interior is very logical, but it's not as rich looking as the Audi. The latest A4 body came out in 2009 to much fanfare because of the added legroom. This is what'll make this car that much more attractive to enthusiast buyers. You can have some fun driving on your own and still have room for when you have to drive around the kids. The outgoing S4 had a very hot-sounding V8 under the hood. So let's start up this supercharged V6 and see what we hear. Not much at all. Let's get it out on the road and see if it has any bite to it. Well, it sure does. And it's not just because of the horsepower. In fact, it's mostly because of the torque output. Now, for those of you that like to drive hard, you know that torque is good. Very good. In actual fact, this new supercharged 3-liter V6 has 11 less horsepower than the meaty-sounding V8, but it produces 23 pound-feet more torque. That works out to 333 horsepower and 325 pound-feet of torque, and 90% of that torque comes on at 2200 RPM. On paper, the S4 has more torque and horsepower than the 335, but the BMW delivers full torque at lower RPMs. Now, regardless, this S4 has a lot of grunt and it's very quick, and that's mostly because of the S-tronic gearbox. Yes, both cars come with 6-speed manual transmissions, but the S4 has a very quick 7-speed dual clutch transmission automatically controlled. The shifts are so quick it's like the power never lets up, and the engine throttle blips for precise power delivery on the downshifts. The BMW is still using an old-style 6-speed automatic. It's good, but not as good as this. Then there's the optional Audi Drive Select, which we strongly recommend for an additional $4,000. Now, I know that's a lot of money, but it turns this already great car into something spectacular. One of the biggest complaints on older Audi products was the dead steering feel. With this Drive Select, the car can be dialed in to provide more or less steering effort, stiffer shocks, throttle sensitivity, and transmission shift points. There's even an individual setting so the driver can dial in, say, a softer ride, but aggressive engine and transmission settings. This is perfect for bumpy roads or any other circumstance. I've always loved Audis, but I can't deny that the 335 is a phenomenal car. So with the changes on this S4, the new transmission, the better ride, the nicer handling, this is the one I would choose. time I spend behind the wheel of this very stylish and quick car, the more it grows on me. The idea behind a supercharged V6 was to save money on fuel, but with my driving experience, I found the fuel mileage to be very similar to the V8. Maybe I've got a bit of a lead foot. The BMW 335 has been around for almost 4 years now. And as Audi starts to catch up and in some ways surpass them, BMW is going to have to come out with something pretty amazing when they update the 335. And hopefully that's going to be very soon.
Want more? Check out drivingtelevision.com for expanded reviews and more automotive stories.